There we go. That's it. Okay, one commercial and we're going to be in.
Hi everybody, we're getting ready to go on the radio. This is Donna and I'm Frankie.
No, this is Frankie and this is Donna. See the struggles I have to go through every day? Struggle. Oh, no wonder it's the wrong one. It's never boring, I'll tell you that. It ain't boring. Okay, and after this one, we're going to go on in. Okay, I'll just go ahead and turn the sound up. Good afternoon. My name is Donna Feazell. I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home. I'm your host, Frankie, on the Afternoon Drive
Hello,
Home.
host.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Good. You know what? This has been a good day. We've had Randall Ham with us, and he was on the first segment. But I wanted to mention you can listen to us online every day at SouthernGospelAM1330.com. Listen locally right here in Scottsboro on TV Cable Channel 10. You can find out all the different announcements and see it's going like 24/7. So you can listen to us, all the great programming, as well as, you know, all the great shows that we have right here and beautiful gospel music. And as a matter of fact, Frankie, a lot of your songs are on this show. Answer the station. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, the lead-in song that you have is just... Talk to us a little bit about the lead-in song. How did you come to write this song?
This one happened just before we went to do the project, and I had been to Walmart, and I was driving up the mountain coming from Fort Payne to Rainsville, and this little tune started coming to me, and usually I get help to fine-tune, but on this one I didn't. I probably should have. But
I love it. I mean, I fell in love with this song.
You know, so many times we could solve a lot of our problems by just taking the time to slip away and get with the Lord. And
See, do you feel like you have to get in quiet? You know, we have so much noise going on right now. We have, you know, the TV, the radio, you know, just different things are going on. Just the traffic outside. Do we sometimes just have to get somewhere where it's quiet?
I do. You know, the older I get, the less I can be in the fray. I have to have a long time, and I just have to get with the Lord, and that's the most precious time to me, is to be able to be with the Lord. And I'm so thankful I have a wonderful husband who lets me not work. Now, I work, but
yeah, I was going to say she definitely
I don't
works.
have a job.
Well, you've done a lot of things, though, through life, and you think that leads you up to where you are now, though, because you're out traveling and you're speaking?
You want to know my jobs? My first job was in radio at WVSM.
I forgot about that. Yeah. So full circle. So now you're.
And then I was a decorator at 3 different places. I was a counselor at a work center for mentally challenged. Then I got into counseling, and I was counselor for battered women, and then drug and alcohol, chemical dependency. And then I was in real estate for 20 years, and all the time I started singing in 1971 with a group. And so I've been winding cords and taking down equipment since 1971.
Well, you see me tripping on cords and stuff around here, so yeah.
And then Point of Honor started in 1995, so we've been going for about 25 years, 26, 27.
Yeah. Well, we were talking before we came on the show about end times. I think in almost every generation thinks this is end times. What do you think we're getting towards that? Do you say signs of it? What are your thoughts about end times?
Well, I've said this before, but I come from a long line of prophecy buffs. My granddad was a prophecy buff, and just yesterday I had got hold of my dad's Bible Schofield Bible when he was saved in the 1960s.
I remember the Schofield Bible, yeah.
That's what I still use.
Mm-hmm.
There's always been bad things happening in the world, that's true. But right now we have a convergence of things happening all at once. Mm-hmm. We've never had a time
It is
where...
almost like this big snowball effect, isn't it?
It is. 1948, Israel came back together as a nation, and that's never happened in the history of mankind. Then, you know, it also says that there'll be an explosion of knowledge, and we're having that, and that couldn't happen without computers and internet.
Yeah, I mean, and can I say something about that, the explosion of knowledge? You know, Rick and Bubba are my friends, and their big thing is common sense is the superpower, and it really is. I mean, it's a superpower if you have common sense. But you see that, I mean, folks have all this knowledge. I mean, like as far as book smarts, they really got it together. But it's like common things that, you know, like carry an umbrella when you go outside and it's raining. You know, just little things like that that are so essential and they're so important for us to do.
There's a big difference in knowledge and wisdom. We're missing wisdom. And the more people reject the truth, the less able they are to see it or to hear it.
Yeah, it's almost like you can't see the forest for the trees in some ways. But I'm talking just simple, common sense stuff that is really important to live on. It seems like we're losing that. We're losing the focus. Could it be computers? We're just into computers too much. Or could it be that, you know, like, okay, all right, we all have cell phones.
We're talking about artificial intelligence here.
We're talking about, okay, I mean, I think I can't live without the cell phone, but I bet I could. I bet I would lead a much richer life without it. But now, doing business is with cell phones. But I catch myself.
We're locked into it. We're locked into it.
But frankly, I catch myself sometimes.
We're talking addiction, Donna.
Yeah, it's addiction.
Is that what you're saying?
But sometimes, I mean, really though, I would rather pick up the phone and call someone and talk to them. That it's almost like automatically you reach for the text, so you can send a text instead. And
especially the younger generation, because that's
not as personal.
That's normal to them, more so than talking. You know, and there's a lot that goes along with all that.
But could that be part of it? It's like there's no personalization.
Right. And now it's all about me. You know, it's a me generation.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know every generation wants to blame the one that's now, but I remember my generation, it was all about me. It was, you know, the Pepsi commercials that would come on. You know, it's all about me, you know, and you know, Burger King, have it your way, and that kind of thing. So I think that took a lot of that, you know, caring about other people out of the equation.
And it's been a progressive thing. It's just been more until here we are today. And even church is about me. You know, it's not about worshiping the Lord. It's about, am I comfortable? Is this, you know, it's all about me.
You're talking about being comfortable. I remember going to church when I was a kid, and we went to this church. It was on Cheehaw Mountain. It's called Hopeful Church. And I remember they had these benches. There was no padding on them or anything like that. And there were little slits.
Oh, yes.
And I remember it being hot. It'd be hot outside, and my little fat legs would be sitting on the bench, you know. And it was not comfortable. But somehow we got through it, though.
Yeah.
And even if church lasted 4 or 5 hours, it didn't seem as long as it can now.
We're distracted.
Uncomfortable.
We're very distracted now. And I'm distracted.
Well, it's easy to be. There's so much going on. Like, okay, I try not to listen to the news per se. So I just kind of pick and choose. You know, I'll read commentaries and that kind of thing. But if you're not careful, you can be drawn into it when something happens. Let's say a bombing happens. Well, then we've all got to sit there and listen to it. We'll listen to the same story all day long. Does that harm us, in your opinion?
Unless you have the hope and you know how the story ends. It's very harmful. It's very depressing. But for me, the news doesn't bother me because I know all of these things happen.
You know the end of the story.
Right. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't choose to listen to it. because so much of it's untrue. So why would I put that into my mind?
That's my point. That's why I don't just sit and listen to the news all day. I'm talking about either network, CNN, Fox, none of them.
You have to sort, so why I don't want to spend my time sorting. And I get more and more of my news from YouTube. I've got different ministers that I follow that actually live in Israel, and they know more really what is happening. And my eyes on Israel, because we're just getting so close to things being fulfilled.
So let's talk a little bit about Israel. Why is it so important? Why do we need to research?
Well, the Bible says that the generation that sees the rebirth of Israel will not pass away until the Lord comes back. And He's going to come back and set up His kingdom. We're talking about the rapture. We're talking about when He appears in the sky. And so we're looking for that.
Well, I know no one can predict the day that Christ is coming back. As a matter of fact, I would be suspicious of someone who says, Jesus is coming back on November the 15th, sell all of your stuff and give me your things, and, because the Lord is coming back. I'd be that one person in the meeting going, excuse me, I have a question. If He's coming back, why don't we have to sell it and give it to you? That should be, But, there are people who do that. However, the Bible also says there are times, there are signs of the times. It's important to look.
Right. And the men of Issachar, they studied and they researched. And so we are supposed to know the time and be prepared. But what it should do is propel us to stay close to the Lord and to really refine our life. And that means being submissive to what the Lord wants and being open to His will and to try to reach as many people as we can.
Well, do you feel like distractions, it could be distractions within your family, your work, do you feel like those are common denominators that are just sent on us by Satan himself to distract us from the real thing?
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt. That's his job.
Just to keep your mind off of the real thing.
Right. And I fall prey sometimes too to getting distracted.
It's easy to do.
But I think that we
because we're
need
humans.
to crave that time with Him, because it is about a relationship. And when we are not having that, we should feel a little unsettled.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it feels like just darts coming at you, like one after the other. So what do you do when you have those days? It could be just a simple little thing. Somebody pulls out in front of you in the car, and they go really slow, and then they turn left without giving you a signal. And that can distract you, because you want to hit somebody.
And make you mad.
At the same time, because I'm just a human, okay? It is irritating. On a rainy day, of all things. But those things can distract us from what's really important if we're not careful.
I've tried to analyze what goes on there, and I think I have arrived at the conclusion that it's a lack of trust. God is really in control of our lives, and if somebody gets in front of us and annoys us, makes us mad, God knew they were going to be there before they pulled out. So.
Yeah, but Frankie, you know what's funny? If somebody pulls out in front of you, and then you see the little bumper sticker that says, I may be slow, but I'm ahead of you. That's adding insult to injury.
I thought you were going to say, and they've got a cross on the back of their car.
Oh, I've seen those. I've seen them. Be really careful, okay?
Which is exactly why I don't have that on my car. Because
I might get irritated, and you're going to see that, well, she's got that cross on her car. Look how mad she looks because I pulled out in front of her.
And then we might be a reproach to the name of the Lord, so we don't want to do that.
That's true. Well, what do you think of just common, we talked about common sense. What do you think about common respect? Have we lost that?
It's gone. It's gone completely.
I think I saw it happening in the past few presidential elections. I saw it happening. And John McCain, I'm not a huge fan of John McCain, but he was in the military. And so I saw the other presidential, they had the debate.
Right.
I didn't sense there was a lot of respect because he had been in the military. And I just know that it's ongoing and ongoing. So kids, teenagers, learn from the top. Okay, and the top would be in our government, is what we would perceive. And so kids are seeing this on the news, and they're saying that somebody takes a shot at somebody politically. They're talking bad about each other. That can happen. What does that say to kids growing up?
I think that there's a lack of patriotism, don't you?
I do, yes.
I mean, and so that's one aspect of it.
Not saluting the flag, burning the flag just because you have an agenda of some sort.
Which, I'm very patriotic. I love this country. I love that we have the freedoms that we do.
Yeah, because we've both been to other countries, and you'll be kissing the ground when you come back.
Right. Because the way that the other countries, most of them, have to live, we should be very, very thankful.
Well, it's socialist, and there's a small group of people who have all of the money, and then everybody else is begging for crumbs. Do we really want the country to be like that?
A lot of people in this country do want it to be like that.
I can't fathom why you would. Because
well,
I'm one of those, I like to see success of people. I mean, like when you're about to go into a contract, and I'm tickled to death for you. I just think it's so awesome. We can't talk about it yet, but I know inside information. But it's so awesome that you're succeeding. I love to see that because it gives me hope. Not only through Jesus, but
I
through
love
you.
To see people succeed.
I love it. But there's a lot of jealousy. I mean, you'll see that, like in the workplace with people. Not here, of course, but in the workplace. And I see that. I'll go to different companies, talking with them about running ads and things like that. And that's the thing I see. And, I mean, nobody's going to succeed that way.
Right. I think the generation that knew what it took to be successful and really had to earn it, there was no government help back in our day. I mean, I didn't have any help to go to college, anything, and now it's easy. The government has made it a lot easier, but it's also taken away personal responsibility.
But they camouflage that because and I get them now. It's been a long time since I've been in school, but you get these robocalls all the time that they're going to help you with your school loan.
Right.
Well, it's camouflage. You're thinking you're getting something, but you're really not.
And a lot of times it's a go-between person that's making money, and it's not really the agency that's going to give you help.
That's true.
You could get in touch with a government agency directly, and you wouldn't have to pay the middleman. So
that is so true.
Something to be careful of. But things have changed. Things are different. And as far as we're talking about knowledge and wisdom, it may be in Timothy it talks about professing to be wise, they became as fools. Well, there's a difference in knowledge and wisdom. And that word actually translates to moron. So, there's a lot of morons in the world today.
There is.
God is our source of wisdom. He's the one that has ultimate wisdom. And if we never read the book, if we never talk to Him, if we never ask for His guidance, we're not going to have wisdom.
Well, sometimes there'll be, and I've learned to listen to this little still small voice, because there have been times I would base decisions made on emotion. Every single time I do that,
I've never done that.
Oh, come on. Seriously. Frankie,
Yes,
every single time I've done that, I've just made the worst mistake. So you can't, and I want to help people. I mean, I have this heart, and I want to see everybody succeed, and I can believe in people, but they have to believe in themselves too, and they have to hunt for their source as well. So that's cost me a lot of time and money in the past.
Right. I agree. But, David said that he wanted to hide the Word of God in his heart so he would not sin against God. Sinning is missing the mark, right? So if we're not hiding the Word of God in our heart, it's going to be really easy to miss the mark. And then we get off track and we wonder why.
Oh, it's hard to get back on track again once you get off.
Right.
But it's something that, I don't know, it seems like you would think when you get older, you get a little age, that you wouldn't have to work as hard. But it just, again, I'm going back to the distractions. It seems like the distractions are holding you back a little bit.